What's up? I'm Odin, and this is my big purple bus. Wahoo!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got the tale of my trip to Amsterdam. Boy, did I have the time of my life, even though it didn't start out that way. Right here is a picture of me in the Schiphol International Airport. And I know you can't tell it, but I was freaking out because my debit card wouldn't work, even though the bank told me it would work anywhere in the world. And my phone didn't work, even though I thought I had coverage anywhere I went. I was scared and freaking out, and I didn't know what to do, so I did the only thing I knew reasonable. I went back to the airport and I started looking for change to try to call my mom, because back then there was payphones. And right around midnight I gave up, and I was like, I just sat down on this bench and I was so exhausted, and I barely was keeping my eyes open, and this guy just approached me and he's like, "Hey man, are you from the States?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can I sit and talk? I don't want anything. I'm homeless and I was robbed, and I just want to talk." And I was like, "Dude, it's a free bench. You could sit down if you want to." And he sat down and we proceeded to have a conversation. And now while sitting with this guy and talking, I looked down and I noticed that he didn't have any shoes on. And I can't see anybody without shoes. So I did the only thing I could think of. I reached around in my bags and I found an old pair of moccasins that I didn't really wear. And I gave it to him. And I was like, "Hey man, try these on and tell me how they feel." And here he comes right here. And here's a picture of him. This dude was pretty cool, like he wasn't asking me for anything. And then I let him have those shoes, and he tried them on. He's like, "They feel great." And I was like, "They're yours, man. You can have them." And he was so grateful that he's like, "Has anybody smoked with you yet?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm completely sober." And so he's like, "Come on, man." We went to the top side, and he busted out this old wooden grinder and this cool medallion pipe, and he loaded a bowl because he only had a little bit of weed, and we smoked, and I got pretty stoned off that little bit of weed, not gonna lie. And it gave me energy to go searching for more change to try to call my mom. And he told me that if I went and find him again in the morning, he would show me where the Salvation Army was, and they would let me make a phone call, and everything would be good. And then I just started walking around the airport again. And I've got pictures of the grinder and the medallion pipe coming up. The dude was so grateful he actually gave me the grinder and the medallion pipe. It was so cool of him. And I got energized enough to where I started walking around again looking for more Euro change. And while I was walking, this guy saw me looking, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I told him, and he was like, "Well, if you make it quick, I'll let you use my cell phone, and you can call your mom." And I was like, "Hell yeah, thank you so much, dude." And I made a call to my mom real quick, and I let her know I was okay, but I told her the situation I was in, and I told her that I was going to make another call to her in the morning once the Salvation Army opened up. And I hung up the phone, gave it back to the guy, and went about my way. It's a really cool old grinder with just a simple pot leaf on top, and I still have that grinder to this day. But anyway, I was walking around the airport after making the phone call from that guy's cell phone, because I was like, you know what, I'm energized. I can't sleep anyway. Might as well. And I kept walking around, and I found a 5 cent euro piece underneath a bench. Here's that medallion pipe that I was telling you about. Unfortunately, U.S. Customs took this medallion pipe, so I don't have this one to this day. But upon finding that 5 cent euro piece, I reached down to grab it, and I couldn't grab just the 5 cent euro piece. So I just grabbed everything under the bench. And when I pulled it out, lo and behold, there was like a 3 gram bag of weed in there. I was like, "What? No way!" So I freaked out. I grabbed the bag of weed, and I ran around and I found that guy that gave me the grinder and the pipe and smoked me out first. And I was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to smoke some real weed?" And I showed him what I found, and he freaked out. He's like, "Hell yeah, let's go smoke a cone." And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the very first cone that I got to smoke in Schiphol, Amsterdam. And for the rest of that night, we smoked that entire little bag of weed, joint after joint, and it was awesome. And around 10 a.m., after it got light, he brought me to the Leger de Helles, or, the Salvation Army, as we know it in English. There I am, and there he is, as we said our goodbyes. And after they opened up the shop, oh, here's some rocks. We got to film rocks, right? Rocks outside the Salvation Army. And I'm going to leave these two ladies up for a little while because they deserve recognition. I wish I knew their names so I could give them proper recognition, but they helped me out so much. They pretty much saved my life because they let me make a phone call to my mom for about half an hour. And in those days, it was not that cheap to make a phone call overseas. They gave me something to eat, and they let me stay off the streets for a little while. While I was there, I drew a picture and I gave it to them because I felt like I wanted to give something back to them. And here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you stuck around to this end, here's the very first joint that we smoked in Schiphol, Amsterdam, me and that guy. I hope you like this video and follow along for part 2. Follow and subscribe to see what I do next.
Pass it to me and you can record me smoking it.